Daly. 5 minutes, and the Minister has 5.
Thanks, Cathaoirleach. Look, Minister, I listened to you earlier at leaders' questions with a sort of a mixture of disbelief and awe. Do you really think that the questions about the conduct of the Garda Commissioner are going to go away? Do you really think that by saying that the Commissioner made it clear that she supported Maurice McCabe, that that's the end of the matter? What the Commissioner's statement actually said was that she never regarded Maurice McCabe as malicious. Well, fair play to her. That's very nice, but it's not the issue at hand. The issue in front of the public at the moment is that the Garda Commissioner's legal team, allegedly on her instruction, attempted to deliberately mislead the Commission by entering false information in order to challenge the motivation and credibility of Maurice McCabe. And the fact that legal counsel have now come out and said the attempt to challenge his integrity was their idea and not the Commissioner's doesn't make it any different. It's actually reminiscent of former Minister Shatter throwing Oliver Connolly under the bus. The Commission was also told that 2 senior Gardaí would give direct evidence that Maurice McCabe was present at a meeting and said that he operated under malice. And it was only when irrefutable evidence was presented showing that that was false that that allegation was withdrawn. Now, Minister, if you don't have a problem with that, then we're in even bigger trouble than I thought, because there is now an immediate crisis of trust and confidence in the Commissioner. Public statements uttered by her supporting whistleblowers have been contradicted by her actions behind the scenes. You shouldn't be surprised about that, because we aren't, because 18 times since you were Minister, myself and Deputy Wallace have tabled the issue of Commissioner O'Sullivan's treatment of whistleblowers, namely Keith Harrison and Nick Keogh at the moment. And I'd have to say, Minister, you have done nothing. And what I want to ask you now is, are you going to launch a full investigation into the actions of the Commissioner in accordance with the Garda Síochána Policing Authority Miscellaneous Act, where you can investigate and indeed remove the Commissioner for actions which discredit her office? Are you going to commission GSOC to launch an investigation? And if you aren't, then why not? I'm reminded, Minister, of a memorable contribution by Deputy Wallace in the Dáil when he made the point to the former Minister that it was time for him to go and take the Commissioner with him. I think it's obvious now it's time for this Commissioner to go, and unless you act, she's going to take you with her.
Deputy McWallace, 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Minister, if Maurice McCabe hadn't made a recording, the judge would have been compelled to believe the 2 officers, and Maurice McCabe would have been destroyed. This development wasn't even mentioned in the Higgins report. Surely that undermines the integrity of the report. Minister, we still don't know, did Maureen O'Sullivan's legal team, under her direction, hand documents to the Commission that contained a false statement? Because that's supposed to be a criminal offence. This is an incredibly serious matter. I find it hard to believe that where things, so much talk about doing things different in all aspects of how we do politics. I mean, we've got Fianna Fáil don't want to know about it even. They just want it to go away as well. It's shocking, it is. What the Commissioner says in public is so different to what's happening on the ground. Keith Harrison and Nick Keogh have been treated abysmally for 2 years. Abysmally. They're out sick, the 2 of them now. One of them gets less than 300 a week and the other gets nothing. There's been every effort made. They've been hounded out of their jobs. It's 2 years since Keith Harrison was trying to get a hearing, a proper hearing. He's only had 1 proper meeting with GSOC. Nick Keogh, GSOC requested his file after a very poor internal investigation by the Gardaí, and they were given 30 days to deliver it, and they still haven't delivered it. Maureen O'Sullivan says dissent is not disloyalty, but that's not true. And now they're saying that, oh, integrity didn't come into it, and they're throwing the senior counsel under the bus, or he's taking one for the team. But she's not even rowing back on that she questioned Maurice McCabe's motivation. She's not rolling back on the fact that she was questioning his character. Who in God's name would be a whistleblower? Minister, she is not fit to be the Commissioner. Nothing has changed. It's as it was. You're not going to change how we do policing in Ireland until you change the hierarchy. Nothing has changed.
To reply, please.
Minister, if you want us to improve how we do policing, we need to get rid of the hierarchy and start from scratch.
To reply, please.
As the deputies are aware, I published the O'Higgins Commission of Investigation into certain matters relevant to the Cavan Monaghan Division of the Garda Síochána on the 11th of May. The report, I believe, deserves the most careful consideration so that we can do everything possible to avoid a repeat of the issues which gave rise to the Commission in the first place. And I and the Government accept its findings fully. As I said earlier in the House, I believe that our focus now should be on ensuring that victims of crime receive the level of service from Garda Síochána they deserve. However, given the comments made by the deputies, I want to deal with the matter of the alleged stance of the Garda Commissioner's legal team at the Commission. But I must preface my remarks by making it clear that there are severe constraints on what I can say about this. To do so, I have to refer the House to Section 11 of the Commission of Investigations Act 2004. The Act contains a prohibition, with very limited exceptions, to the disclosure of any evidence given or the contents of any document produced by a witness while giving evidence in private at such a commission. Evidence was given in private, as deputies are aware, we discussed it earlier today, by 97 witnesses. 97 witnesses over, I think it was 34 days. Mr. Justice O'Higgins himself, in his report, referred to the confidentiality of its proceedings, saying that, in accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Commission took all necessary steps to ensure the confidentiality of its proceedings. In fact, all of the proceedings were in private. There was no request from anyone to have them in public. So these were private hearings into the evidence. I will make the general point that partial disclosure of what happens in private at commissions of investigations are inherently unfair to those who participate in such commissions and properly feel bound by the laws which apply to them. All 97 witnesses before the Commission have rights with regard to the confidentiality of the Commission proceedings, and I have a duty to respect those rights, and I would suggest that all deputies in this House have a duty to respect those rights. And above all, I have a duty to respect the law. That duty is not diminished by the fact that some media reports purport to set out a small part of what may have happened at the Commission's private proceedings, notwithstanding any legal prohibitions in that regard. I am aware of suggestions that it would not be unlawful by the Commissioner to disclose the instructions she gave to Council, as this would not involve discussing evidence given at the Commission. Leaving aside the legal position set out in the 2004 Act, it seems to me that it would be a significant change to the generally accepted position that communications between a lawyer and a client should not have to be put in the public domain. To put it mildly, it would be very unusual to ask any party to a legal proceeding to unilaterally disclose its dealings with its legal representatives. In any event, this would actually involve a partial disclosure of what happened at the Commission and could serve to undermine the work of the Commission. It is hardly a demand that the deputies would make of any other party to the Commission. For the reasons I have explained, I do not believe it is appropriate for me to comment on the specific reports which have appeared in the media, further reports this evening on the 6 o'clock news, about what happened at the Commission. I do welcome the Garda Commissioner's clarification, which was issued last night, when she repeated that she accepts fully the Commission's findings, and of course that includes accepting fully what the Commission had to say about Sergeant Maurice McCabe. Of course, I would say to the House, there's no obligation on anyone to accept the findings of Mr. Justice O'Higgins. I said on publication of the report that I hoped everyone affected would accept that Mr Justice O'Higgins had fairly tried to do justice to all, to the position of all, and I believe that to be the case. But what would be very unwise and unfair would be to attempt to rerun the Commission's proceedings on the basis of allegations about what may or may not have happened at a part of the Commission's proceedings. Suggestions that there should be some form of investigation, as we've heard tonight, about what happened at the Commission of Investigation, seems to me to fundamentally misunderstand the nature and purpose of commissions of investigation.
Could I ask you to conclude?
I conclude now. As I indicated when publishing the O'Higgins report, we should not lose sight of the central fact that at the heart of this report are victims who were let down. I believe our focus now should be on taking all the steps necessary to ensure that does not happen again, and that we have a policing service that serves all of the citizens of this country to the highest standard. I have had preliminary discussions with the Garda Commissioner about taking forward the recommendations about policing contained in the report, and I have every confidence in her commitment to take these forward. Thank you, Caroline.